It's Thursday, the 14th of June 2018, and welcome to Navigating Your Day. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, safety energy lock number 14 came into the universe meaning equilibrium or sustenance. And safety energy lock number 14, I'm not going to be able to show you now because you're going to just see boo if I stand up, right? Is located on your rib cage on either side. If you just place your hands, if you place the heel of your hand in your waist, where your fingertips lie on your rib cage, that's where safety energy lock number 14 is. And it's the center of the torso. It is the center of the body. It's what keeps us upright. It's the part that keeps us standing within our integrity. So it's about equilibrium. It balances the top part of the body with the bottom part of the body, the heavenly part of the body with the earthly part of the body. It also helps to maintain the equilibrium between heaven and earth. We are the representation on earth. So it's about equilibrium it's about more than maintaining a balanced life, okay? Like, getting enough exercise and enough sleep and eating healthily and doing work and blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. It's more about maintaining the balance of being in your upper three chakras, which are about expansion, love, cosmic awareness, spiritual connection, and in your lower three chakras, which are about rooting to the ground, your physical safety, your security within relationships, and your sense of who you are. So this safety energy lock number 14 in the waistline helps to maintain that equilibrium between those higher functions and the more lower functions. And the higher functions are not more noble than the lower ones. The lower ones are not good or bad. It's just words, all right? It's just words of denoting place. So sustenance, it's about what do we need to sustain ourselves. So if you remember yesterday, safety energy lock number 13 was about fertility or love thy enemies. And I said the primary enemy in your life is usually you. So when we can connect to that, or when we can open safety energy lock number 13, then we are able to truly be discriminating in what it is that we need to sustain ourselves in the world. And in order to sustain ourselves, we do need a connection between heaven, metaphorically, and earth, which is us, right? So the safety energy lock number 14 helps us to sustain or integrate that spiritual connection that we have, that spiritual part of our nature with our more animal nature, or our angelic part of our nature with our more animal part of our nature. Very important safety energy lock. And in fact, in Jin Shin Jyutsu, they say that 99% of all health conditions start in the waistline. If you think about it, you've got your liver and your gallbladder, your stomach, spleen, and pancreas in the front, your kidneys and your adrenals at the back, your small intestines in the center, and you've got your diaphragm. The diaphragm that is like a metaphysical conduit between the upper part of the body and the lower part of the body. And all of that is happening around the waistline. So 14 is also a 5, and 5 is about adapting. It's about being able to adapt to changes. It's about being able to integrate different aspects of yourself so that you can become a more complete human being. It's about what do you need in order to sustain yourself. You need relationships. You need to look after your physical body. You need to do meaningful work. You need to provide some sort of service that gives your life meaning. Those are all things that we require in order to sustain ourselves. And the more freely the energy moves through safety energy lock number 14, the more able we are to do that. And the more open safety energy lock number 14 is, the more adaptable we become. So 14 is a 5. 5 is the networker. 5 is the one that connects. 5 is the one that connects all the different parts of the web and makes it complete so that we can use that to sustain ourselves. 5 is the one that can adapt to change really quickly. 5 is the inventor. 5 is the analyst. 5 is the quick thinker. So today you can connect to that quick thinking, analytical, networking, externally expressive energy of the 5. We've, of course, got the 6 from June, which is a fire energy, and it's more about creativity. So that quick thinking, analytical inventiveness of the 5 can be turned into something more practical by the 6 of June, and 6 representing June. Sounds like I said 6th of June. And then, of course, we've got the 2 from 2018, which is what helps to keep us balanced, all right? It helps us to understand that there are benefits and drawbacks, that pain and pleasure come together as a package, that quantitatively and qualitatively they are equal, that we need a balance between self-nurture in order to nurture others, 2 helps us to connect to our emotions, because our emotions are giving us feedback of what is actually happening in our perceptions. So we've got a spread of elements. We've got the air from 5, we've got the fire from 6, and we've got the water from 2 today, bringing a fair amount of balance. There is also quite a bit of earth in the life map today, so it is actually helping to keep us grounded, because one of the drawbacks of the 5 is we can become over analytical. We can overthink. We can think too much. If we think too much, then we start stressing. If we start stressing, we become anxious, and then we start becoming overwhelmed, and then we try and actually disassociate from the emotion. So instead of actually connecting to our bodies, instead of actually integrating through the center of our bodies, we actually spend all our times in our heads. And as I said, it becomes extremely exhausting. It becomes very overwhelming, and it can be exhausting for other people that are with us. We actually then end up becoming energy drains. So we need to be aware of that today. The hero of today, I have to just check, is a 4. I talk so much in the beginning that I forget what the numbers are that are coming, right? So the hero today is a 4. 4 is an earth number. So it is going to provide some grounding to this, to the air and the fire energy that is happening in the front, in the root of the life map today. 4 is about seeing the big picture. 4 is about breaking boundaries. 4 is about realizing I'm confined to a box. I've confined myself to a box, and in confining myself, I'm confining others. And so how can I break those boundaries? Not safely, because it never feels safe really when you break a boundary, but 5 is the adrenaline junkie, and 5 loves a thrill. And so when you break boundaries, you can connect to that thrilling energy of expanding into a different version of you. 4 helps us to see the big picture. 4 helps us to keep the big picture in mind, so that we don't get over analytical and mired in the details and too anxious. The villain today is a 9. So when we have 9 in the villain position, then we become stubborn. We don't want to listen. We think our way is the only way. And in fact, we have a little tantrum, all right, or a shit fit. So when things are not going our way because it's not going quickly enough, or it's not going fast enough, or it's not being beautiful enough, or other people don't want to get out of their box, you need them to get out of their box, but they're not prepared to get out of the box, then the 9 in the villain position really can just throw a tantrum today. So you do need to be aware of that. 9 can be incredibly stubborn when it's in the villain position. It does not want to change its position, well, just because it doesn't want to, okay? And it will become fixedly stubborn to the extent where you might actually cut off your nose to spite your face. So do be aware of that, please. Luckily, as I said, we always have Jinshin Jyutsu. So you can open safety energy lock number 14 by holding the elbow crease. I've got such a dark clothing on today, but the bend is of your elbow, if you place your hand over the elbow crease and you hold that, then you actually connect to safety. That's actually the 19. 19 says, I take responsibility and authority and leadership for my life. And when you hold 19, it helps to open 14. So it actually helps to open the waistline, because the elbow is the waistline of the arm. The shoulder is the bust line, the elbow is the waistline, and the wrist is the hip line. So when you're holding the waistline of the arm, you help to open the waistline of the torso. So that's what you can do to open safety energy lock number 14, or you can hold the ring finger. The ring finger is associated with harmonizing the lung and large intestine organ function energy, so it helps us to take in nourishment through the oxygen and to expel carbon dioxide, to reabsorb water from our large intestine, and to expel food wastes. It helps us to let go. It helps us to release. It helps us to release those feelings of deep sadness and grief, holding the ring finger, and it helps to harmonize safety energy lock number 14, so it helps to open the waistline also. I hope you have an amazingly balanced and sustaining day, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow.